Ciao, everybody. My name is Jeanie Colclough, and I'm the owner of Riveting Trips, and welcome to another episode of Riveting Trips with Jeanie. Today, I'm here with my friend Francesca, and she's going to tell us all about the Veneto region, specifically her property and family and multi-gen travel that's available in this region. Francesca, welcome. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, Ginny. Lovely to see you and also to hear everybody listening to us. My name is Francesca and I represent Aurelian Chateau Hotel, five-star hotel between Verona and Lake Garda in Italy, which is a pretty amazing area. It offers a lot. It offers things for young people, older people. It offers culture, history, wine and food, beautiful scenery. And of course, it's in the same area as Venice and the Dolomites. Both places everybody wants to see at least
Yes,
once in their
beautiful
lives.
places. And you also have a Michelin restaurant, right? Michelin star restaurant.
Yeah, Villa Cordevigo is a five-star luxury hotel. It has two restaurants. The gourmet restaurant has a Michelin star, and we have a wonderful chef who is Sardinian, and he combines his classical fish and Sardinian sort of food with what we have in Veneto as well. So it's a truly Mediterranean thing, but it mixes north and south. So, and also it has a few Oriental contaminations, as we
Oh,
call them.
yeah?
So he was out there in Hawaii and places, and he got hit by some of those great flavors, and he just brings them back and adds them into something that's Italian. So, makes it very globally attractive, I think. Yeah.
I would look forward to trying it out. Today we're here talking about like family and multi-gen travel. Can you tell us a bit about what you would recommend at either on-site or off-property?
Okay, well, multi-gen, I think means it could be grandparents traveling with families with smaller children too. So I guess we're looking at three generations, which means that we're
Correct.
looking at the whole gamut of human activity, basically. Our area offers a great deal in wine, but that is
Mm.
not all we have. We are very concentrated on things like sustainability and how people can continue to be healthy even when they're on holiday. None of this, we're
Right.
going to get fat for 2 weeks and then go home and diet. No, we
There's
have to
nothing
keep
wrong with
them.
that either.
Well, we have a fitness trail that goes
Oh,
around the hotel estate because the hotel is actually surrounded by its own vineyards. So it's a
beautiful.
wine estate, and all of those vineyards are organic. This is one of our sustainability things. And of course, there's a great deal of interest for people who, really want to know about what we can do to make our footprint a bit lighter. We're trying to do that as a hotel. So we've got loads of things. We try to get people to use our fitness trail because that's good for them. Don't get in
Right.
the car, get on one of our bikes.
Yeah.
Take one of your bikes around the fitness trail. It's a mile long, so you can do it more than once, or you can
Right.
just walk it, or you can run it. And we have little stations, 12 stations, all the way along the fitness trail where you can do stretching exercises, and you've got little
Okay.
icons telling you what you have to do and how you can use the equipment that's there for you. So that's something that's pretty unusual, and it appeals to all generations,
It
particularly
does.
people who just want to stay a bit fit.
Yeah.
One point on the trail where you can actually see across to Lake Garda. So on a very
Oh,
clear day, you
beautiful.
get an amazing view from there. Otherwise, you're literally walking, running, or biking through cypress trees, olive trees, vineyards, and you are really in the heart of nature, which is something that we all love.
Can you tell people how far you are from, like, let's say Venice, which is the next, Venice or Milan, because those are the
Yeah,
two big
well,
airports people are flying into.
absolutely. Yeah, most people are flying into Venice or Malpensa, which
Mhm.
is one of the Milan airports that serves America very well, as you know, but even some come into Linate as well. So we're about 2 hours max, I would say, from Malpensa, and just under 2 hours from Venice as well. So you can actually do a very clever thing and fly into one and fly out of
Right.
the other. And you
That's what
can
I
make
would
that.
do.
Yeah, absolutely. Because then you get a chance to get to visit Milan because everybody wants to see the Last Supper. And that is a great thing for educating children or, different generations always enjoy things like that together. Then you've got Venice itself. And
Mhm.
Venice itself is amazing. I mean, you can actually even go for a day to Venice. If you're staying in our hotel for a week, for
Right.
instance, you can actually take one day in Venice because we can take you to Peschiera, the railway station, and you can get on the train and get off at Santa Lucia in
And just
Venice, and
walk,
you're in
right?
part of
Right
the
there.
city, and you can do what you want to do in Venice and come home at night for dinner. Well, maybe you get dinner on the way somewhere, but
But it is,
but
you guys are really smack dab in a lot of great places, right? You're close to Verona, you're close to Venice.
30 minutes
Yeah,
drive to Verona, 15 minutes drive, max in the summer with the worst traffic to Lake Garda. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful position. I believe that you can actually bike into Verona in about 40 minutes and hardly
really.
ever touch a proper road because they have proper cycle area.
Trails.
I
Okay,
haven't
that's
tried
good
it
to know.
myself,
Well,
but
that's something you
it's
could do
yeah.
later.
Yeah, it's something to try when you come, Jeanie, because you're
Yeah.
the right age for that.
If there's like a bike and wine stop, right? If someone will carry a wine bottle for me while
My dear, we also have,
uh,
you can cycle to see various different wineries and go
can
and
you?
taste wines on the way. I mean, there are
Okay.
lots of different things that you can do, and you can do them as a family group or a group
Right.
of friends. It's
Okay.
amazing. I mean, you can decide whether you're going to do that kind of thing there, or maybe go up to the Dolomites and hike in the Dolomites, or maybe just relax and hike. Different
Right.
generations might look at the Dolomites as being a different kind of opportunity. Myself, I would look at it as being a place where I'm just going to chill out, look at these beautiful mountains, which, the Dolomites are considered to be the most beautiful mountains
Right.
in the world, and they really are amazing.
It's quite a
Um,
hike. It's quite a hike.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
the other generations, the younger generations might want to do the proper hiking thing,
Right.
but it's great. I know one particular hotel where they even have a climbing wall.
In the hotel, really?
In the hotel, they have a climbing wall. So somebody who's
Okay.
maybe approaching that sort of thing for the first time, they can actually start it in the hotel and feel
Wow.
very secure,
Okay.
which I think is amazing.
So
That same
what's
hotel. Mm.
from Villa Cordevigo to the Dolomites and how long is the distance? And then what would
Well,
be
to
the
that
entry point?
particular hotel, I would say
Okay.
2.5 hours. But if you were
Okay.
going up to, I don't know, Cortina or somewhere like that, you'd have to drive a little bit further. It could be 3 hours. It's
Okay.
still just about the right time between destinations, if you see what I
Right.
mean. So,
Okay.
Villa Cordeviga, Vigo to Venice would be
Couple
2 hours.
hours.
Some people, if they wanted to stay in Venice, they might want to be in the heart of the city, which would be very, very expensive. Maybe a multi-gen might think
Yeah.
about staying outside the city and being in a country hotel, maybe where they have a boat that you can go into Venice with. I happen
Oh,
to
okay.
Villa Francesca, I don't know if you know that, is a Relais and Chateau hotel too,
Okay.
like us. And we work a lot together because our clients seem to like coming to our two
So they
hotels.
kind of piecemeal the trip that way then.
Oh, they have a couple of boats. They have a water taxi and they have a
Okay.
launch as well for up to about 15 people. So yeah, you can do
Okay.
some great things just by boating around the lagoon. Italy doesn't have to be in the box. You can think out of the box
Yes.
and do lots and lots of different things.
Still my favorite country in the world.
I have to say it's mine too.
Yeah, it's
Actually, you know that Italy seduces you. It's like a beautiful woman. It
it
seduces.
is. I
It
think
makes you so
my first trip was in the year 2000 and I keep every time I'm just like, okay, every time I go on a new place, new vacation, I appreciate that new place, but in the back of my mind I'm like, okay, it wasn't Italy. So it's horrible of me to say that. That's what I'm thinking, like food, wine, just I think the proximity or accessibility to both the modern and the old, and the appreciation of both, right? I mean, I think some
yeah.
places it's just about change, do this, do that. And then other places they're kind of stuck and like they're not going to evolve for the new crowds and the new travelers.
Yeah.
So, but I
But
think, yeah,
there's also such variety in Italy. The great
yes,
thing about
there
Italy
is.
was that, of course, once upon a time, it was a number of small city
Right.
states, and they were different peoples,
Yes.
different races. And what they did differently. Their food
Yeah.
is completely, if you go to
Yes.
Rome, you're not going to eat the same food that you eat in
No,
Venice. If
no,
you come
yeah.
to
Or
Verona, you will
Florence
not
or
eat the
Milan,
same
yeah.
Rome, exactly the food
Yeah.
that you eat there. So yeah, it's so exciting from that point of view because so many people go to Rome, Florence, and Venice for their first trip.
That's pretty much yes, yes.
And I find that they must be so confused when they've had their 2 weeks because they're so different.
Yes.
My personal view is take a trip to Venice and then go to Verona and then go to the Dolomites. just get to know that particular area, get some in-depth knowledge about it, get to meet some of the local people, do something with them, go and visit their wineries, talk to
Yes.
them. Yeah, you're going to get so much more out of it rather than just running from statue to
Yeah.
statue.
And
Yeah,
the time that you spend also from the distance from those places can be quite a bit to tackle. But I
absolutely.
think
Absolutely.
everybody, especially Americans, since we don't get as much vacation time as you Europeans, they do especially try to do the whole whirlwind trip and then they forget about the stuff. Was that in this place or was that in this place? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what we have to worry about. But in terms of, you said Villa Cordevigo has a winery or do you have harvest on that? Is that an activity that you?
Well, actually, we do have a few wine experiences because, yes, we are owned by a winery. The winery is
Okay.
not on property,
Okay.
but let's say the grapes are.
Okay.
So yeah, we've devised a number of experiences for our guests, from a very simple tasting
Okay.
right up to visiting two or three different wineries in the area and getting different focuses from, looking at, because there's a massive number of wines that are produced in the
Right.
Veneto. So, a lot of people know Amarone, almost the whole world knows about Prosecco.
Right.
They both come from Veneto, but they're two entirely different wines and they come from different areas of a very, very big region. So
Okay.
yeah, we have a whole bunch of things like that. The harvest is around about now.
Okay.
Let's say that climate change is bringing
Yeah.
forward as well. White wines are being harvested at the end of August. And
Yes.
when we're talking about Amarone, which is a completely different wine again, that is being the grapes will be taken off during the course of September, and then they'll be put into wooden boxes
Hmm.
and stored so that the water in the grapes disappears, evaporates off, concentrates the sugars,
Yeah, the sugars.
concentrates all the natural aromas in that, and then they go on to make the Amarone. But I'm not going to give you a wine lesson.
Well,
Not
I was
here for
wondering because
that.
that's an activity that maybe you could do with family too, right? If you are part of harvesting. Wow.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because we have a great little winery that, oh, I lost one of my things.
It's okay.
Excuse me. And my ear thing. One of, okay. So yeah, we have this other winery which is in Valpolicella, which is
Okay.
up in the hills. I mean, the stunning scenery. It's such good fun. If you have a car and you like driving, you're going up through the hills, through these roads like this, and it's green, green, green all around. It's fantastic. And then you come to this little historical winery, and in there they take you and show you how they make their Amarone. And they actually have a truffle bed as well.
Wow. Okay.
Occasionally one gets to stop and have lunch there and have pasta with their truffles from their truffle bed. They have a truffle dog.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, it's hard to not have a good time in Italy, I think, right?
Yeah, and all of that is so suitable for multi-gen. I mean, it's
Yeah,
really family travel. It's stuff that you can all do together and really enjoy together.
it does sound like a fabulous time. Do you have other recommended itineraries? Like, let's say they decide to base themselves in Villa Cordevigo, right?
Yeah.
Do you also allow events to be held on site or
Well, we do. I mean, we have a few weddings a year, but we
okay,
generally want to have weddings that are going to have buyouts,
right.
so we don't want our guests to be disturbed by other people's events. So if there are events, they're small ones and they're not going to disturb. So
That makes sense. That makes
yeah, that
sense.
does make sense. Well, we're Ready and Chateau, and Ready and Chateau
Yeah.
like
There's a certain
they like their
brand, right?
guests to be left absolutely
A
in the
certain
car.
brand. Well, that's good to know,
Absolutely.
right? The quality that's ensured by right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Solis et Chateau is a guarantee. It really is. Quality guarantee. It's the
Quality
best.
guarantee.
Mm.
How about other activities you would recommend for either in the area or with either, how about young
Yeah.
children? What if people say, okay, I really still want to stay in this beautiful villa, right? But what can I
Mhm.
do with little kids?
Well, in Verona, I think I'd be recommending to start thinking differently about when you travel. And maybe, with climate change and everything,
Mm,
winters are
warmer?
getting warmer. Absolutely. So middle of November means that Verona is beginning to put on its Christmas markets. Everybody thinks about the Dolomites for Christmas markets, but
Mm.
actually we get some of the Dolomite stuff that comes down to the markets. They're held in the different piazza, the different squares of the city. It's such a beautiful city. It's so picturesque. They decorate it beautifully for Christmas. And well, Christmas shopping, family
Uh,
together. I mean, can you think of anything more romantic and more lovely to do with the people that you love? It's
Verona's a
great.
beautiful town. I mean, if you haven't been to it, it's got the amphitheater, right? It has the
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Juliet balcony. It's just the little
It
streets
has
too, right?
everything.
Has everything, right? It's a very walkable town too, I think.
That's right. And
Yeah.
we also have the hotel open until after Christmas, well into sort of
Really?
2nd of January is more or less when
Okay.
we close for our winter break.
Okay.
But so, you can come, you can think about doing Thanksgiving, something like that, and taking in all the Christmas shopping. I think it would be
Oh,
wonderful.
that's going to be on my list then for Thanksgiving ideas. I hadn't thought about that really because we went to th for Thanksgiving last year, we went to Rome, right? And the kids really
Yeah,
loved it because the
yeah.
weather's not so cold and things like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, just being able to get out of the apartment or the hotel you're in and then just walk around the city and just feel like a local.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the grown-ups can have mulled wine because they sell mulled wine on the corners. There are chestnuts being roasted, those wonderful smells and aromas of the winter holidays. It's just great.
That does sound fabulous. Oh,
Mm.
I really want to be there right now. How about in terms of like outdoor activities? Is there horseback riding nearby or anything like that
That's
for
not something that we've ever been asked about. I don't
yeah.
think so. I think we've got 5 golf courses in the area, and
Ah,
then
I
the
do know
other thing.
families who like to golf. Yes.
Yeah, and there are some
Yeah.
very nice, I was actually at the golf club the other evening for dinner, and it was just amazing. The views over Garda, just fantastic. Conde, it's a wonderful little golf club, and they've got a very nice restaurant too. We had
Oh,
dinner there, in fact. So yeah, and also I would be suggesting that people took a boat ride on the lake. If
okay.
they're in the summer months, there are various kind of boats that you can hire. Anything from a small outboard motorboat that you can have with or without a driver, depending on what your own experience is, obviously, right up to a classic sailboat or, a beautiful a kind of Riva kind of
Right.
boat.
And
And
Riva's
they're
very nice.
terrific. Yeah, absolutely terrific. You can have a real family party on something like that, and
Yeah.
you can go and see around the lake. The lake is enormous. Lake Garda is
Yes.
the biggest lake in Italy, and it's extremely Mediterranean. It's very unusual from sort of the vegetation point of view. We have lemon trees and olive trees, not just wine, which is what
Yeah.
one gets used to in the north, but we have those truly, and lots of cypress trees. Sometimes you look at it and you think, I'm in Tuscany. No, I'm not.
But yeah, for the listeners out there, can you tell them differentiate between like Garda and the more popular Como, right? Like in terms of activities and what you can do. And I've been to
Yeah,
Garda once or twice. Yeah.
I would suggest that you can probably do pretty much the same things in both, but they're completely different lakes. Como is much more of an alpine lake. I mean, you're very aware of the mountains being
True.
there,
Right.
whereas you're not to the same degree with Garda. You've got hills and mountains as well, but not sort of dominating alpine sort of mountains, just ordinary mountains. So you do the same sort of thing. You wouldn't be looking for George Clooney, of course. He wouldn't be there. You'd be doing the things that are far more Lake Garda activities. A lot to do with the wine and food, I would suggest. Sirmione, a lot of
Yes.
people
Yeah.
like going to Sirmione. There are some beautiful lakeside villages. I would say that they're both crowded, and this is, one of the issues with Italy at the moment can be over tourism. So I'm gonna say yet again, maybe start thinking out of the box
In
about when
terms
you
of when to
travel.
come. Okay, so when would you recommend coming, right? Because a lot of families, they can only come during vacation holidays, but if they have younger
Sure.
kids before the kids are enrolled in school, they can come anytime, right?
I would guess Easter
Okay.
could be a good time because it's early in the year, less people are traveling. Obviously, the Easter weekend would be very busy, but you wouldn't have everybody else there all the
Okay.
time. I would say don't bother anymore with July and August. It's not just a question of over tourism, it's also the temperatures. They're getting horrendously expensive high with
Hi. The
yeah,
climate
high
change.
temperatures with too much humidity as well.
Would you stick to the
Young
Dolomites during that time
people.
then?
Sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I would. I think I would. Having said that, the Dolomites have their own moments as well. I mean, they do have a lot of summer people going there in the
Right.
summer, but we don't always share the same season.
Okay.
Sometimes they're like May and June, for instance, are not mountain times, even though they're wonderful places to visit at those times of year, and you will find hotels open there, but not so you'll get fewer people in
Okay.
those months, I would have thought, which could be an advantage.
So some of those
And I
hotels
would,
aren't opening up until like summer, or I mean, there's some of them are, I'm assuming ski hotels, right? Resort hotels during the winter. But then they're also they at least here in California, there's Lake Tahoe.
yeah,
And I heard Lake
yeah,
Tahoe actually makes more money during the summer than it does during the winter because
well,
people
maybe
don't think
so.
about it.
Wow.
But it's just, because people want to be outdoors, they want to be in the mountains. Not everybody likes the
Mm,
cold,
mm.
right? Skiing is also considered like you need to bring a lot of stuff. You need to schlep a lot of stuff. Whereas in the summer, you only really need to bring like shorts and a t-shirt,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Well, the bike seems to be one of everybody's favorite vehicles
Okay.
these days. People are doing a lot of biking, but I would also say that in the summer in the mountains and even in the summer around us, you've got the golf. There are golf clubs everywhere, and we've got some great ones in the area and in the Dolomites.
What's your
So
handicap?
I have no handicap. I don't play golf. Come on, Jeanie. I work all the time.
I don't play golf either. My parents play golf, so I think they're good golfers. I've always tried to encourage them to go overseas to play golf, but they're just like,
Yeah.
nah, just play
I think
here.
it's difficult if you want to use your own clubs and your own equipment.
Yes.
I don't think you want to ship them across the
Yeah.
Atlantic in a plane. I can
Yeah.
I can understand that perfectly. But then of course you can hire them here if you want to play. All you have to do, I mean, places like Conde where I was the other evening, basically all you have to do is pay the green fee. We'll organize that
Okay.
for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's good to know, right? I
yeah,
may try to work
absolutely.
that into my dad's birthday party celebration if I ever get that arranged. I'll
One of
talk.
the
I
other
gotta say
things that
action.
we like to do as well is organize walking tours of Verona for people too, because it's a very human dimension of the city. You can walk it very, very easily at any age. Consequently, it's nice to have an English-speaking guide, a proper one that will
Right.
take you around and walk. And in the summer, if people do have to travel in the summer, let's not forget the summer opera season because that is
Uh,
quite stunning. It starts at the end
yeah.
of June
Verona's
and
got
finishes
the
at the
opera
beginning of September.
season, for
Yeah,
adults, it has the wine event in Verona, right?
yeah,
Has a lot of events going for itself, right? And
it does. Yep,
yeah,
sure does. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's a beautiful town. I've often looked at real estate in Verona.
That's- And the people are so nice too,
Yes,
Jean.
yes. How about
I
the
know this is a
cuisine?
general in Italy, but they
Yeah.
are lovely.
But what about the cuisine? When people are going, and you said we said earlier that the cuisine is very different region to region. Could you
Yeah.
describe the food in the region?
Well, obviously, because we've got that lake, we've got lake fish. So you're going to get a lot of fish, but you will also get fish from the sea because Venice is
Right.
on the sea.
You guys are
So,
close to both.
yeah, we have I mean, we have an abundance of all kinds of food. And we have wonderful vegetables because it's countryside. We're in the middle of the
Mm,
countryside. So we have wonderful vegetables and fruit. And then we have the mountain farms where they make the cheeses. So anybody who's a cheese freak, they're going to have a great deal of kinds of cheese they can choose from. And in our restaurant, for instance, we have a wonderful cheese trolley. Really serious.
my son would love that. He loves cheese, right?
And then pasta, everybody
Yeah.
adores pasta, but every single region of Italy
Does their
is
own.
different. Now, don't come to Verona and ask for carbonara because, that's from Rome.
Right.
So you
My
have to
daughter
kind of
loves
work
that.
out. So I suggest that one of our favorite dishes in our area isn't even pasta, it's rice, because
Okay.
we have rice fields in the north of Italy, and the local speciality is an Amarone risotto, and it
Oh,
is
wow.
so good. It is so good, Jeannie.
Is it with other like vegetables or meats, or is it just
No,
okay, just
no, it's
Amarone?
literally a risotto and it's flavored with Amarone and it's wonderful.
See, that's kind of what I like about traveling, right? You try different foods and you try to replicate it back home and never tastes as good. So you have to go back,
You have to
right?
learn the technique, and
Uh,
that can kind of bring us as well to some of the other things that we offer,
oh,
cooking
cooking lessons.
experiences,
Okay.
because there are so many things that people can't make at home because, as you
No,
say, the ingredients are maybe not just quite right, or you don't know the correct technique, you
right.
don't know how to get the right balance between this ingredient and that ingredient. Well, we do have a few of those cooking experiences that we can share too.
Okay. Give me an example. I mean, I would like to. So the cooking with the Amarone risotto could be possibly one, right?
Okay.
What
The other
else?
might be you might want to learn how to make gnocchi.
Mm.
But and honestly, I tried to make gnocchi. I'm a pretty good cook. And I was
Okay.
even pretty good when I was young. And I thought, I can do this. And so I got my little cookbook and I got all my ingredients together and I made what I thought was spinach gnocchi.
Uh-huh.
And they were like green cannonballs. I didn't have the correct person telling me what to do and
So
giving me
what's
those
the
little secret
secret? I want to
tips.
know because, when I lived in Rome years ago, my roommate made gnocchi and she was from, I think she's from Campania, right? With the
Yeah.
tomato sauce. And she just like clockwork, just doing all this stuff. I was like, Patricia, what are you doing? She's like, making gnocchi. And she was sitting in the kitchen, and then I tried to do it when I came back home. Mine just tasted like mush.
This is
Just,
it. You see, you've actually got to have those lessons and you've got to listen to the insider tips, the secrets, the thing that's going to make it a success. And maybe even do it twice.
for me, it might be 1,000 times. It still probably won't turn out. I don't think I'm
So there's
that
never going to be a
talented.
lack of things to do. And even I think with children, a cooking lesson can be good.
No, my kids
Younger
love their
people.
cooking lessons. Even if my daughter loves to cook, but my son, he says he wants to learn to cook, but not really. He normally will just sit there. But during the actual lesson, he'll have fun. He'll try to figure it out. And then, we can tell usually who's the better cook because my husband, my daughter's stuff always looks better than my son or my stuff. Just kind of like, okay, well, we'll just eat it. But yours looks better. Yours is for the photo. Mine is for like the stomach. So yeah, it's not really yeah, no, but I think even as a person who doesn't, I appreciate cooks and the food, but the process can be kind of frustrating at times, right? If you're not,
It can, it
yeah,
can. But if somebody is prepared to give you the tip,
yeah,
the secret, how to do it, you learn it and you remember it. And of course, you make notes
yeah,
too.
yeah, oh, yeah.
You
That's what
take
I
it back
should
with you.
do. I
And
didn't
you
take
also
any
go
notes.
back and start looking for your ingredients in a different way as well.
There's
Yeah.
there's some things like when pizza Napolitano became popular here, and they're like, you need to buy
Yep,
the 00 flour, and you couldn't find it here for a
absolutely.
long time, right? Now you can
Absolutely.
find it, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it needs to reach a certain threshold or becomes popular enough where it's wanted in the markets and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I do love Italian food, and I do love the fact that it's regional and the wine that it's regional because you can't get, we have Italy near us, right? And I don't know what you think
Oh,
about
yeah.
Italy, but there's Italy near us. And you go in
Oh,
there and you
yes.
go
Yep. I
like,
know.
okay, there's all these different regions of Italy. It's
Mm.
probably the only country that I know that every region produces its wine. France, not every region produces wine, right?
No, that's
Um,
right. If you go farther
yeah,
north, they don't do it anymore. Of course,
yeah,
Champagne is probably the last area where they do, and then after that, yeah, they
yeah.
stop. That's
They stop. So I think as revered as French wine is, Italian wine, it's like literally every region, even Sardinia and Sicily have their own wine production. So
oh wow.
yeah,
One of my favorite wines comes from Sardinia, the Vermentino.
okay.
Favolo. So
Well,
good.
it's
And
next
that's a
on my
white one.
list.
Yeah, yeah. You need to go there. Alghero, around the Alghero, such a beautiful historical town, Alghero. And
Oh,
then they have this amazing white wine as well.
well, I don't know. Do you have any other suggestions for our listeners out there, Francesca, of what they can do? I mean, you've given us a lot, right? You've told us about cooking, going to the lake, going to Venice, perhaps going to the Dolomites. I mean, this is all based from like just staying at your place for like a week, and then you can do possibly
Yeah.
overnights or day trips, maybe even.
I would say that. I mean, if you're going to do the tour, I would do the Venice Dolomites and finish or start at Villa Cordevigo near the lake and do Verona. But I would also say Milan is only an hour and a half away.
Right.
You have to do today, Milan is a city that is so young and vibrant that the architecture there is extraordinary. It's very, very modern, but it's got this very antique center as well, Brera
I
and
love Brera.
the
That's where we
academy.
stayed last time we were there with the
Ah,
kids.
it's fantastic. There's a
Yeah.
lot to see. You've got to take at least one day and see Milan as well.
And the
So
fashion sense there is so sharp. I don't know what it
for
is.
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, the other Italian cities, but no, Milan's fashion sense, just like, my husband goes, yeah, I live in Silicon Valley. I don't have to wear suits to work, but if I did, I would love to look like these Milanese people.
You have to
Right?
have at least one good suit, even if you work in Silicon Valley.
Okay, that's that. So you start the trip. You maybe end the trip in Milan, get your suit made, order, right? And then
No, I would suggest you do that at the beginning because you're going to have to go back and try it on.
okay, that's good advice for the listeners out there. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed another episode of Riveting Trips with Jeanie Colclough. If you'd like to book a trip with us and maybe check out Francesca's property, Villa Cordevigo, let us know in the notes and follow up via email. Once again, thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Share with your friends and family. Ciao, ciao for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.